Greetings and good vibes, y'all. Welcome back to the Leon Block. It's your guy Jontel back with another. Why is it doing that? With another episode. Tonight I'm just doing whatever I feel like. It's been a while. My mouse is being weird. Excuse me. Where we at? There we go. Okay. So tonight I wanted to drop some clips with y'all. Talk about some stuff. Some people have some questions. I'm sure y'all have questions. So if you want to get into it, just hit us up. You can comment, share, like, repost. You can email us to leonblock@gmail.com. I do email back, by the way. This first clip, we talked about a lot, to be honest, but I really wanted to get into. People ask what the Leon Block is, where it comes from, so I really want to get into that.
And mainstream media doesn't do. So at this point, it's my God-given right. I believe that I was put here on this planet to provide the truth, speaking truth to power. That is my form of activism. That is my form of protest, is speaking truth to power and going against the grain, going against what mainstream media will not give us. I'm going to give it, and I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And when I figure it out, that is who I am. That's when things kind of started falling into place. And I mean, I mentioned to you before that I'm still taking things a bite at a time, but I know where I'm going. So that is really the energy of where the Leon Block came from, right? But what the hell is the Leon Block? So all of 2020, my grandfather watched me marching and protesting and speaking truth to power. And he was, he did a lot himself. He was 85 years old. My grandfather, in 2020, he had got COVID a few times, actually. Okay. And he's still, I know you're breaking up a little bit. Hold on, let me catch up, because I can hear you, but like you're freezing up a little bit. Oh, there you go. You there?
Yep. I don't know if it. That is freezing like up a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like it's delayed.
I was a little irked. No, yeah.
Can you hear me?
I was a little irked at this point.
I can hear you, yeah.
Because
yeah, I feel like it's delayed, and I don't know why.
Can you hear me? Yeah, that is weird. Hello.
Right. Yeah. 1 second. Okay, let me try this.
Okay.
I was literally frozen because I was trying to dip out and come back in. But I don't know. There was some tough.
It seems good now.
You good?
There are some difficulties on her end.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, no, I can hear you fine. I can always hear you. It was just like a little delayed. So I switched off my Wi-Fi and onto my data. So maybe that can help. So, so the Leon Block, My grandfather watched me protesting and marching and giving speeches and coming into my own and my passion, right? Um, and watching
Mhm.
him really go through the ringer with COVID. Um,
Yeah.
when I decided to form the Leon Block, it was in November of 2020, and so he got to see the Leon Block come to
Okay.
fruition. So he knew what it was when I told him the title,
Awesome.
but to other people that doesn't make any sense. What the
Yeah.
hell is the Leon Block? So my
Mhm.
grandfather's name is
Yeah,
James Leon
exactly.
Tolan, and my grandfather's name is James Leon Tolan.
Okay.
So uh,
Yo.
his middle name, your anyone's middle name, is the core, the epitome of who you are, but it's not always known.
Mhm.
Everyone doesn't always know your middle name,
Right.
right? But it speaks to the core of who you
Right.
are. Maybe you're named after your grandparents, or maybe that is a special name that your dad gave you, or
Mhm.
whatever, right? But middle names are
Mhm.
always special. They're the heart of who you are. And his middle name
Okay.
is Leon.
Yeah, definitely.
So the heart of who he is like protesting. He protested. He marched. He was a part of
Wow.
labor unions. He um, fought against this woman who
Yeah.
was killed. He watched police kill her, and then he witnessed other protesters retaliate and kill the police officer, and he did 2 years in Newark prison. My grandfather was a badass. He
Mm.
lived life to the fullest till the day that he died. Like he smoked and drank. I smoke. I don't drink
Yeah.
like that. But I mean, my point is that like
Mhm.
he was in the army. I don't support war, but I also do believe in supporting for fighting for what you believe in and standing up for something. He also was a big proponent
Yeah,
and supporter
exactly.
of being an advocate for healthy mental health. And he also
Okay.
worked a part of his own local organizations, one in Coatesville called Can I Help You? So
Awesome.
he wanted to make sure that
Yeah.
he was organizing and helping his own local community. Also, he was a small business owner and had a small business to help uplift young kids and give them somewhere to go after school and keep them off the streets. And that's just a few things to name
Wow.
to speak to who he was as a person. And that
Right.
speaks to what the Leon Block is as a platform, because all those things that he did are all the things that the Leon Block represents. And it just so happens to be that it happened to be
Right.
that way. Um, and so I was like, it's nice that that it has that name. So Block, talk about innovation, speaking truth to power, flipping things on their head. My grandfather had also became a toy creator. He made
Mm.
this toy called the Jimmy Block, and it was essentially like
Uh-huh.
right, it was essentially like a Rubik's cube type of thing. But I mean, what what kids play with toys like that in the 2000s? So like, no toy company
Yeah.
wanted to take it on, but he did get it patented, and it was something that
Okay.
came out of his mind that he thought together and he put it out there. He got
Mhm.
that idea together and he put it out there, and so combine the
Mhm.
Jimmy Block with Leon and who he is as an individual, and I was like, boom, like this is the
Mhm.
epitome of what speaks to empowering and enlightening and uplifting our people through hard work, ingenuity,
Mhm.
innovation, history, spirituality. He was a
Mhm.
very faithful person. He was a devout
Right.
Christian, but he was
Right.
the Christian that Jesus actually like would, you know what I'm saying? Like he was a real Christian. He
Yeah.
wasn't some like hypocritical Christian. So I still respected him as an individual. I'm not a Christian. I'm a spiritual individual,
Mhm.
and I'm more
Mhm.
towards African spirituality. But
Okay.
he respected me as an individual
Mhm.
and loved the hell out of me. And before he passed, I was able to um, hear him tell me how proud he was of me and what I'm doing with this platform,
Mhm.
knowing that he's the inspiration behind it, and knowing that a lot of what I do is because of where I came from.
So that's a little
Big ass red smoothie across the whole
little bit of background of where I got the name the Leon Block came from because somebody asked me and I figured I'd give a little info.
fucking business. And guess what? My homie had to literally spike me to the floor because I was flipping out. Ain't nobody see that on national TV. People wasn't
Yeah.
coming for my neck. I lost my job. Yes, I lost my job,
Yeah.
and that was rightfully so. I paid the consequences, but also needed that moment. I think it's
Exactly.
important for people to realize that yes, actions do have consequences, and we do need to think before we speak, and before we have actions
Mhm.
are going to have consequences or repercussions. Yes, but it is just as important to be
Right.
expressive of yourself and showcase that you're suffering those consequences, to showcase that we're all human beings and been with tons of white men. I love white men.
Mm-hmm.
I literally do. I'm attracted to white men, but
Right.
I'm attracted to white men that are pro-black, and they know.
Okay.
They know. They just
Right.
fucking know. You know what I'm saying? And if I ever get any kind of fucking inkling that you're not pro-black, I don't fuck
Mhm.
with you. Point
Yeah.
blank.
You're
And
cutting
I
it
think
off.
that there's a
Yeah.
lot to be said with that. There's a lot of things that black men will tolerate with white women because it's a form of self-hate, or things that they're not
Me
taught
too.
growing.
Yes. Exactly.
There's a
Like
lot of
I
it's
was
layered and there's factors, but
yes.
go ahead.
When I was in college at Westchester University, there was a
Westchester
bunch.
University, yes.
Yes, but there was a
Shout
bunch
out,
of
yes.
men that would only date white women, and I said, "Why?" I'm like, "Why?" Like I understand everybody has a preference. I get that, but it's like, come on, your mom is black. And it could be a preference. That's fine. You can say only they white women, but the thing about it is they would be like, "Oh, black women are this, black women are this." Go ahead and love your white women,
That
but
part.
don't down black women. That's the thing. You can have your
But
preference
just as
and love.
much as if you're giving a stereotype to black women, you're giving a
Yes,
stereotype to white women as well. And that
exactly.
is damaging not just for those two demographics, but also for my own demographic, black men. Because not only are you
Yeah.
giving us a bad look and a bad vibe, you're not giving yourself the love and attention that you deserve as a black man, not only from a black woman, because a black woman can provide you with something too, but also for
Mhm.
yourself. Find value in yourself to let whoever is your vibe come to you, not just go to a
Right.
certain group because you think that they're going to be subservient to you, or
Yeah.
that you're going to
Yeah.
have some kind of reverse retaliation for the things that were
Mhm.
the atrocities that happened to us. That ain't going to change nothing else, boo boo. That's not going to do
Mhm.
nothing either. You know what I'm saying? So like, one thing I do think is very problematic for our community, and I try to be very mindful of, is not being is speaking to the hoteps, because
Mhm.
I think that's just as insidious as the coonery that we see
Mhm.
out here.
Yep.
Because I'm
Right.
pro black, but I'm
Right.
also pro human, and I try to keep the
Exactly.
two neck and neck. I'm
Yeah.
not egotistic, but I am
Mhm.
very eclectic. And
Mhm.
so I'm very proud and prideful in being eclectic, but I
Mhm.
also am very mindful of the fact that people have different rose colored glasses on of me and different hues of
Yeah.
people. So
Yep.
that's fine.
Yeah. Actually, I do get a little bit of Capricorn vibes because Capricorns are really like outspoken and strong-willed and strong-minded. So yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
This was a previous intro that I had from like earlier this year and part of last year. That's my old logo.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I noticed the third podcast this morning. It's just one of many. Who am I working for? Really, I want to know. Do you have the answer? Let's find out.
I kind of missed that. I need to bring that back. Who am I working for? 'Cause I gotta get another job now. I can't seem to make enough money. Damn, I've been working so hard now, but I still can't provide for my family. There is a knocking at the door. Tax man here. Government want more. Who am I working for? My strength is running out, but I can't quit now. And I'm nearly going under. Can't help but wonder, who am I working for? We can only go up from here, I believe. While you're at the bottom, I'm gonna be so high it's hard to see. I try to smile, but my troubles are so hard to forget. And I'm working like a dog just to get ahead, wondering every single day, is it my turn yet? But somehow I can't seem to get out of debt. There's a devil knocking at the door. Tax man here. Government want more. Lift me up. Fuck being afraid. Who am I working for? We can only go up from here, I believe. No one is more enslaved now than the ones who falsely feel they are free. When it comes to depriving people of their liberty to move around, by the way, those were lyrics from a Tinashe song called Who Am I Working For? That's where the title comes from. And if you listen to the lyrics, that's what she's talking about. Questioning the reality that we live in. And when it comes to depriving people of their liberty to move around, the United States beats all other democracies by a wide margin because 743 out of every 100,000 Americans are in jail. That's crazy. And while it's possible that Cuba and North Korea exceed us in terms of overall percentage of citizens denied freedom because of their political prisoners, we should still be ashamed that we are looking at totalitarian regimes to make it to third place. We also have the highest, I always have a hard time saying recidivism. Recidivism.
Meaning those who go to jail are more likely to return than stay out. Just so you know, blacks are nearly 6 times more likely to be in jail than whites, which indicates continued systemic racism in our country. Speaking of which, we keep minorities poor. The falling unemployment rate since the Great Recession remains cause for joy, but it comes with a caveat. Hispanics are still around 50% less likely to have a job, and for blacks, the unemployment rate is roughly double that of whites. People who can't find a job are hardly free. But even if you do work, we take home less of the wealth we produced in other countries. Did you know that? Once the American middle class was the strongest and richest in the world.
Yep.
That was 35 years ago, and it's no longer true. Our middle class and working poor now take home less of the wealth they produced than the middle class and working poor of countries like Canada, Finland, or the Netherlands. And yes, this is after taxes. So even taking into account the high tax rate of the more socialist nations, Americans are still getting shafted. which is sad, but because we work like mad, contrary to popular belief, Americans do not work more hours than any other people. We're actually pretty close to the middle in hours worked among developed nations, but there's a downside that is all our own. We work more night and weekend hours than anyone else. 29.2% say they work weekends and 26.6%
Goodbye
work
and the
shifts.
spam calls.
Sorry, Gallup shows that our 40-hour work week is
I'm
more
getting
like
better
a
at it, y'all.
7-hour work week. We also get the fewest vacation days of any developed nation. There's not much freedom if all you do is work and sleep. We also give all our money to our bosses, and over the last 3 decades, the average American's paycheck has barely risen to account for the inflation. All except for the top 1% of Americans.
Yep.
Their average income has risen to 1.26 million annually, or 22 times more than literally everyone else in the country.
I'm gonna pause that real quick and tell you that there was a millionaire created every day of the height of the pandemic. Every day there was a new millionaire in America alone. I digress.
And our bosses control our health. The United States trails behind the rest of the developed world when it comes to healthcare. We're pretty much the last nation to not have a socialized healthcare system. We fund a private health insurance industry for more than half of Americans. That industry is supported by contributions from your employer. Despite the success of the Affordable Care Act, most people are still tied to the whims of their employers when it comes to coverage, meaning that we're less likely to have a job that we don't like because we're worried that our children, or ourselves might get sick if we move to another coverage less position or strike out on our own. Speaking of that, we're less able to start our own business. American entrepreneurship is one of those things that's supposed to be a given, but a large part of that depends on how you define what entrepreneurship actually is.
So you can find all these episodes on the Leon Block YouTube page. I'm just going through and giving y'all clips of shit. Don't mind me.
I do want to talk about on the heavy tip real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's some pretty heavy shit. Not gonna fucking lie. Not gonna sugarcoat no shit for y'all. I'm gonna start off by talking to y'all about Emmett Till, because there's a link for y'all if y'all want to check it out. To an article. Emmett Till was a 14-year-old black boy who was lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after being accused of offending a white woman at her family's grocery store. And come to find out, after she wrote a book years later admitting that he was innocent and she just lied, nothing was done. Nothing was done. And here we are in 2021, and this motherfucker, Ian motherfucking Cranston, and his accomplice,
I can't with myself.
Allie Brewster. I'm gonna get her name right because we're gonna say their motherfucking names. If y'all have not heard, go ahead.
Don't say their names. Fuck them. That piece of shit. We say their names.
No. We will say their names because their names need to be said, not Barry Washington. You know what I'm saying? Like, put their mugshots all over the fucking news. Let's see these horrendous pigs for what they fucking are. They're worse than killers.
All right, so let's try to do.
Well, this motherfucker decided to kill Barry Washington, broad nightlife, in the middle of the sidewalk with tons of people around, and people literally just look and laugh like it was nothing. Like it's the Twilight Zone or something. Like I don't get this shit. I really don't get it. And literally people just laugh. One person.
Yeah, man, that's some crazy. That I mean, it's bad enough, that they killed another black person. Like that we're constantly fighting for this. You know what I mean? But even to be laughing, like, and then they get off, like, that's some bullshit. No, I'm sorry.
The fact that no, you good, cuss all the fuck you want. I put a disclaimer, so if somebody don't like the cussing, they can tune the fuck out. But my thing is the fact that the white woman, and I said this before, beware of the white women, the racist white women, not the Karens, the young ones, the accomplices that have been bred and taught this nasty racism, that are the accomplices and are the devil. They're worse than the white men themselves a lot of times, because it's the white woman that sent this video bragging to the police, to the news, acting as if they did nothing wrong. Actually, they thought that they did everything right and that they were in the right. That's why they sent this to the news, and the news did nothing. Mind you, no one called the police. The police showed up and arrested him, but then he got out on bail, and they fled. Yeah, they're just roaming free, having the time of their lives, probably being the new age Bonnie and Clyde right now.
You are definitely right about it being, like, taught. Because, like, just recently, like, I was in Dorney Park. I was with my one of my best friends and her son. Oh, no. This was a time where we actually went to Knoebels. And I was with two of my best friends, my two guys' sons, and one of my best friends' son. And, like, we're like, my guy's son's black. He's half black and half white, but, he looks black. And, my guy's, like, my friend's son, he's Spanish and Greek, but he looks white. And we're standing in the line, and it's like this little white. Now, granted, I didn't even notice that, we were the only black people in that line at that moment. You know what I mean? It was black people at that moment, we were the only black people in line. And, like, I just happened to glance over, and there was this little girl with, like, the stankiest look on her face looking at me. So I just, like, just smiled and said, "How you doing?" And just turned back around and just continuously kept talking to my guy's son and, my friend's son. And I happened to turn back around, and her face is just still stank, and she kind of, like, turned around. And when she turned around, she looked directly at my guy's son. Because, again, he's the black, and the son is grilling him. And I'm just like, wow, it's sad. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this little girl had to be, like, 8, 9. Like, there's no reason why 8 or 9-year-olds should know anything about racism, grilling black people for the color of their skin. You know what I mean? Right. Like, she wasn't grilling anyone else. So, like, and then I happened to realize that. Then it forced me to kind of look at the crowd. You know what I mean? Everybody else minding their business, but I ended up realizing that, it was a whole bunch of white people. And I was just like, that's sad. Like, I mean, it's real sad that, you know what I mean, even little kids, you know what I mean, are trained to not like black people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's rooted. It's definitely rooted.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, at some point, we gotta stop fighting them and just do us and stop giving their dumbasses our fucking money. Oh, I'm sorry.
Talk about it.
Well, that you have a point, but we have to keep. No, I do disagree. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep being aware of this, because these motherfuckers are just killing us for no fucking reason and think it's okay and no repercussions. Oh, hell no.
No, I'm not saying that. You know what I mean? Like, what I'm saying is just, like, stop fighting their asses. For real. You know what I mean? On some real shit. Like, just more so worry about what the fuck you doing in your community. We're sitting here, like, coming at them so much about what they're doing to us. You know what I mean? Which is wrong. It's definitely wrong. We're going to still keep doing what the fuck we got to do. You know what I mean? But we're giving so much energy fighting their asses, and all they're doing is coming up with other plans to help calm us down, shut us up for a moment. You know what I mean? And still keep killing us. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, we as black people have to come together as one, you know what I mean, and start putting our resources together as one, and stop fighting by ourselves, and just do it together, and just worry about doing, like, take the money out of all of these racist ass motherfuckers, because then they'll start realizing our asses is what is keeping their asses in fucking business. For real. Put that money back into our own fucking community. Start building our own people up. You know what I mean? Stop talking down, like, you know what I mean, black companies or wanting to go to these big major fucking multi-billionaire, like, $billion-dollar fucking companies and shit like that, giving them that fucking money, and they don't even like your ass. They're training their kids not even to fucking like you. That's what I'm talking about. Stop fighting. Not stop fighting in general, but stop fighting, giving a fuck about what the fuck they feel, how the fuck their feelings is, and everything else like that. That's what I mean about stop fighting. Fuck your feelings. I just laughed and just shook my head and just thinking in my head, like, that's so sad. I just felt bad for the little girl. Like, I thought, I'm not gonna give you no fucking energy. I'm about to just hurt you somewhere that it hits you somewhere else. You about to have to look inside yourself for a moment. Yep. You know what I mean? Or make you broke. Because my goal is to bankrupt these motherfuckers.
I know that's what. I can dig.
You know what I mean? Stop shopping at giving money to all of these different companies and shit like that. Start feeding black companies that's actually trying to make themselves and start building more entrepreneurs and black people so they can start making their own fucking money.
That's right. Yo, that episode was a bomb episode. That was featuring Rachel. Rachel actually is a co-host, but she just has not been on in quite a while. But that episode was pretty dope. This one is too. It's about homelessness and stories of homelessness and my own personal accounts, statistics, information about houselessness. It was um, here. Just check it out.
And support our neighbors however we can. You are an individual, but you're also a member of one of two classes, either the working class or the capitalist class. If you do not own the means by which capital is produced, a factory, an office building, a block of apartments, a large company, you are a member of the working class. And that means your fight is the same as the people at risk of eviction, or who make $7.25 an hour, or who can't afford their medical bills. Only
So I will put all of the links to any of these episodes in the comment section so that you could check it out. I know that I want to keep some time for folks who have questions for me. So I want to make sure that I leave enough time because y'all know me. Someone can ask me one question, and if I'm passionate about that question, I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna have a lot to say. Uh, you ready for me? One thing I do want to say is like, if you did not get the part where I talk about the Leon block and its inception, definitely check it out because a lot of people always have questions like, where did the Leon block come from? Like, what does that name mean? In this episode right here, behind the Leon block, shit. There we go. Behind the Leon block is where it comes from. Anything for me?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, I guess I'll start with people that's here in the studio with me. You have any questions for me?
Yes. I had questions for you about the Leon Block earlier, and you did answer that. But I wanted to hear your take on the gay community today.
On the gay community today, you got to be more specific. Like,
such as being a young black gay man in the gay community. What are your opinions?
what are my opinions on being a young black gay man in the queer community? Um, my thoughts are I am big on being um, at the forefront of uh, uh, making sure that I'm making connections with people and gathering people together and making people feel as like free and emboldened as they should feel. So here at the Leon Block, we go to during Pride Month. We do a lot of different things, and we highlight and go to a lot of different festivals as much as we can, and share footage. Like this year, we went to Philly Pride twice, but I went personally to Black Gay Pride because I do that like every year, and I hadn't gone for a few years because of the pandemic and shit. But this year I got to go. I had a little bit of fun, and then regular Pride in June. It was the first year that it was like all inclusive and tons of black and brown people. It was a march instead of a parade. It was so awesome. Like it was so awesome. The footage I got from that was great. I was right at the front and center of the march filming, so it was really cool to get that footage. I filmed. They had like what was called Kiki Alley, so there was like voguing competition going on. Like ballroom legends were there on the mic. Like it was so dope. I got to film that. I gotta find that because you would love to see that. Like that shit was dope. Where's all right? So I'm gonna find that. While I find that, you can ask me another question if you want.
All right. So basically, what you're saying is you feel as though you are helping with the gay community. Helping the next generation. With being young, black, and gay. Being able to be comfortable being out. You know.
I mean, I came. This shit was horrible. I mean, like when I restreamed it, I don't know why when I restreamed it, it was being weird. But this is the episode you can check out. So what was it that you asked me again?
And so like being out, you want to be a role model, basically. You're out here.
That's the word I guess I would say, role model. And when I say that, I mean like just being me. Like I don't give a fuck what other people think. So, being myself in all facets of me, whether I want to be sassy, nice, classy, raunchy, a hoe, if I want to be professional, if I want to be mindful, I will be all of those things because that's what makes me me. In again, being mindful, meaning being mindful of the repercussions that I might have based off of someone else not liking. Excuse me, let me reframe that. Based off of anything that may be set in my path based off of the person that I am. Someone else not liking what I do, who I am, has nothing to do with me.
Right.
I want to find anything else. You just keep going. Like I'm trying to find where. Oh, this was a march.
So you do a lot of work within the black community and the gay community because you can relate.
Yeah. I mean, why do I keep coming? Do I do a lot of work in the black and queer community? Yeah, but I'm more so doing work in everything that has to do with human rights. And anything that the mainstream media won't cover. I think I have more of a specific tunnel vision on police brutality and things that happen to black men and young kids at the hands of police. That is definitely a focus of the Leon Block. And capitalism's ills on society is definitely a big focus of the Leon Block. Yeah.
That's great.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's great. I'm here because I'm needed, and there's lots of stuff to talk about. You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess it. Yeah.
The more people that can be out there helping, the better.
You know what? The more people out there needed is the better, because there's not enough people out there. We need as many boots on the ground as possible. Speaking of boots on the ground, check out the other episodes that we've aired the past few nights about what is going on not only around the world but specifically around the country, because there's a lot, and we crammed a lot into episodes. They flagged us and said we were promoting hate speech, which is crazy. Because we certainly were not. There was nothing, any kind of hate speech whatsoever in any of the clips that we aired, nor was it in any of the discussions that were had or any of the words that were said in the podcast. So someone had to report us, and that's sad, but it's this kind of stuff that we deal with this network. I mean, I'm used to it personally. Oh, by the way, I did post the links to all of the YouTube videos, episodes you could check out. However, you can go check out more episodes right here at the Leon Block channel on YouTube. See, we're live right now. But you can also check out things like our history pieces, different pieces of information, protest marches and rallies, any news segments that give you pieces of not just history, but current events too. But we generally like to put our current events in our webisodes. And if you have any questions, concerns, things you want to say, shout out, stories you have, you want to talk about, you can DM us. You can comment right here on this post, on this stream, or you can email us at leonblock@gmail.com. You can text us at 484-909-0873. We love to hear from you. No more questions from the peanut gallery? I guess not. All right, y'all. It's all love. Again, if you have any stories you'd like to bring attention to, hit me up. I'm always here. Make sure you meditate on your path, celebrate your being, liberate your spirit, and educate yourself. I'm Jontel. Have a good one.